Hello, I'm Lionless Art, better known as Leo, and in the words of a famous man, today I wanted to do something a little bit different. Some call me Kevin fan art. So, okay, the fan art part is maybe not so much different, but pretty much everything else about it is. For example, it's maybe not my first attempt at a group shot, but my first serious attempt in some time. So, to talk a little bit about what brought this whole thing about, like many people, I like to play YouTube videos in the background while I draw. In particular, I like gaming videos because it's not as visual as, say, drawing videos or studio vlogs, and it's not a big deal if I get really into the zone while I'm drawing. I personally like to watch a few channels like Gray, RT, occasionally Cub Scouts and Corey, but my favorites have to be Kevin and Jerma. I mean, I certainly watch their stuff the most. Despite that little factoid, I've never done fan art for them, so I decided it was time to change that. Well, I guess that's not exactly true. The real impetus for this was that I was rewatching Kevin's Miitopia videos while I was doodling, and the idea hit me for his characters from Miitopia posed in like a very serious and dramatic comic cover. And that made me smile, a little bit of a laugh, so I went for it. To be honest, here lately, it's been kind of difficult to draw. My motivation is low for most things, so anytime I get an idea that makes me smile or laugh, I snap it up and execute it, and usually it makes the whole process a lot more fun than it would be otherwise. Honestly, art as a whole is a lot more fun once you realize that you, as a creator, have all the power. You want to see some fan art for something you enjoy? Good news, you can make it. No matter how weird or silly or niche, you can do it. You have a unique and terrifying power to make something real in a sense. And you can totally abuse that power. Who's gonna stop you? Not me. I'm too busy drawing Turg fan art. And with that line of thinking in mind, I set to work. And unfortunately, almost immediately, I ran into issues with anatomy and not just Turgs. I mean, how do you expect me to draw a forehead nose in perspective, Kevin? Please, why? So I cheated, so to speak, and posed up some mannequins in Clip Studio for the anatomy. I mean, it's not perfect, but my anatomy most likely would have been way more wonky. I also wanted this really dramatic feeling with Jim floating menacingly in the background, the main trio poised for action in the center, and Grognak standing at the ready opposite Jim, almost symbolically. Looking back on it now, though, I probably could have pushed the composition more or the posing, and it definitely turned out different than how I was imagining it in my mind, but that's just kind of how art goes, really. It was still fun to make, and it made me smile, so that's enough in my book, and hopefully yours too. As far as the process goes, I don't usually go from black and white to color. I usually go straight to color, but I thought it would be best to start in grayscale just to help establish mood, foreground versus background, and a little bit of lighting. Also, I know I did the unthinkable by making Default's expression something other than neutral, but it just would have looked so out of place to have all these people posing, angrily ready for battle, and just one of them looks completely unaffected. I like to think that Default's face is really CGI, like they edited it. They just pushed her eyebrows down and bang, she's angry. As a little aside and behind the scenes action, it wasn't until I had finished the drawing and was editing the speed paint that I realized I forgot little Kev's beard. I was looking at it like, something's wrong here. Oh my gosh, Kev's beard. I even had it in the first sketch too. I guess I just lost it along the way somehow. I was almost tempted to leave it out and just say it's younger little Kev, aka even littler Kev, but I did fix it. All in all, this took me around 18 hours to create over a number of days, I think around 4, and I tried some new things, made a lot of mistakes, but still managed to make something I'm decently happy with. I hope you enjoy the piece as well, and the speed paint for that matter, since this is my first time doing a voiceover. How did I do? You can let me know in the comments below, along with any critiques for this piece or ideas for the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!